Good afternoon. I'm meteorologist Bailey Braun, and we've got a lot to talk about today, especially with a return in winter weather, including snow as well as some frigid wind chill. So we'll jump right into it, and I'll tell you all that you can expect for this weekend and especially next week. Now, I just wanted to show you this photo of the day from Kathleen in Trapper Creek. The aurora should be out, especially if you are in the interior. I'm not exactly sure how strong it's supposed to be, but it might be out, so be sure to go check it out, especially with these clear skies. Now, in terms of these weather headlines that we're paying attention to, snow and rain are both returning to South Central for tomorrow night and also returning on Wednesday with much heavier amounts of this wintry precipitation. This is going to bring much bigger impacts, especially for western Alaska. But in the meantime, temperatures are dropping significantly for the slope and western Alaska as well. This wet weather is continuing in southeast. Now, with your weather alerts, I just wanted to show you what's going on across the state, and I wanted to point out a few things. Now, this extreme cold watch that you're looking at in the North Slope, this is highlighting the entire region. This will be in effect Sunday night through, that should be through Tuesday afternoon. That's going to be for wind chill as cold as -75 degrees. So be sure to bundle up and stay warm, because that wind chill, that can get you frostbite within just 5 minutes. So be sure to be careful with that. But high wind warning out in the Aleutians. This is for Adak and Atka. This is for gusts up to 75 and even 85 miles per hour. So brace for this. This is going to be in effect from Sunday morning through Sunday night. So very short term in terms of these impacts, but it's still very important to be aware of this. And if you can barely see it, there is that winter weather advisory just hiding right behind where it says winter weather advisory. This is going to be for the Tok Cutoff Highway, and this is going to include, even though Glen Allen isn't part of this winter weather advisory, Glen Allen will feel very similar impacts with 4 to 8 inches of snow accumulation. So this is mostly for the upper Tanana Valley, so just be aware of that. That is going to be in effect from Sunday night through Tuesday afternoon. So that's just a look at some of the weather alerts that are active as of right now. There are going to be several issued in the next few days, especially with the series of storms that are on their way. Now, I just wanted to show you on our satellite and radar these two storms that we're paying attention to as of this moment. Now, that low pressure system sitting in the Gulf, this is what's going to be bringing in more of that wet weather to southeast Alaska. This is also going to bring some rain and a little bit of that wintry mixture into the Copper River Basin and the eastern side of the Kenai Peninsula. But this low pressure system out towards the Aleutians, this is what's bringing in such strong winds to areas like Adak and Atka. This is also going to bring a moderate amount of rainfall as well. You can see that frontal boundary right there. That's what carries most of this wind and this precipitation. So it's important to be aware of this and the impacts that it can have. This is going to make landfall and stretch up the Alaska Peninsula by Sunday night into Monday. And then there is another storm, yet a third one that we're paying attention to. That's what's going to bring the strongest impacts. Now, before we get ahead of ourselves, I just wanted to show you what we're looking at as we look ahead into the overnight hours tonight and into tomorrow night. So for tonight into Sunday morning, you see all of that wet weather staying centered around southeast. That's not going to change. Just expect more of these scattered rain showers to push through your area. Not really any big impacts in terms of wind. The strongest wind gust forecasted is going to be for Yakutat. That's for 30 miles per hour. But in the meantime, just brace for more of that wet weather in southeast. But as we look ahead, you'll notice that by Sunday night, there is that frontal boundary for the Aleutians. That's that low pressure system that I showed you that was just sitting off from the Aleutian chain. That is what's going to bring some rain up the Aleutian chain and up the Alaska Peninsula as well. But into the overnight hours and Monday morning, you may notice a little bit of that snow likely for South Central. This has changed a little bit since the last time we forecasted this. Now, we are still expecting snowfall for Sunday night into Monday morning in South Central, especially for Anchorage and the Matsu Valley. However, it's not going to be as much as we originally anticipated. This is only going to bring between a trace to up to 3 inches of snow just from Sunday night into Monday morning. But heavier amounts of snow are on the way for later this week. So just be aware there is a lot more snow heading our way, and that is the result of this storm that you can see highlighted right near Unalaska. Now this is the big one to be aware of. This is that weather maker that's going to be bringing strong impacts to southwest Alaska. You can see just the size of the storm and how much it's going to impact. It stretches all the way from Bethel all the way down into Kodiak, and then it will take over south central as well. This is where we're expecting much heavier rounds of snowfall, and that will bring our snow accumulation up to about 6 to 10 inches, including what we are going to see Sunday night into Monday morning. So that's important to be aware of, but I wanted to show you exactly what we're looking at when we're forecasting our snow, because snow is fairly difficult to forecast. Even this model data that we've been looking at all day long, it's changed several times, and I just wanted to give you an idea as to what we are expecting. So you can see right here, we've got quite a few model data to compare. The RPM as well as the GFS are typically what meteorologists look for in terms of precipitation, especially when it comes to snowfall. The GFS model is what's highlighted in yellow. You can see it tops out not quite at even 3 inches yet. So this is what we're expecting to see, between about ½ an inch highlighted in green. This is also true with our blue model data, and then what's highlighted in pink is only estimating about 3/10 of an inch in terms of snow, but that GFS is likely to see 2 inches. So brace for anywhere between a trace of snow, and I'm going to say up to 3 inches, even though it taps out around 2 inches. You never know, and you should be aware of all the possibilities of what's included in this model data. But I also want to point out, not only does this plateau for Monday afternoon, indicating that we're getting our snowfall by Sunday night into Monday morning, but you'll notice that there is a slight uptick by Tuesday afternoon. This is when that big storm rolls in, the ones that I just showed you on our radar. So this is for South Central, more specifically, this is for Anchorage snowfall, but this is also something you can pay attention to if you live in the Mat-Su Valley, because this will impact you as well. So this uptick in snowfall that we're expecting, that's what's going to roll in Tuesday into Wednesday, bringing the more heavy rounds of that snowfall. So here's just another look at as what you can expect during the overnight hours. Sunday into Monday, you get a little bit of that trace of snow, but then Tuesday night, that's when that bigger storm rolls through. Again, that impacts a lot of southwestern Alaska, even spanning up into the Seward Peninsula just a little bit, and it does tap into the Panhandle as well. So more of that wet weather is expected for southeast, but we are likely to get more of that snow by the middle of next week. Now for the snowfall, here's just another look at that model data from a different perspective. So this is estimating about 1.7 inches of snow by Sunday night, and I showed you that we're only expected to really get between a trace up to 3 inches, and that reflects perfectly with what we're expecting all the way through Monday, and even into Monday afternoon we really taper off and dry out. But again, that next round of precipitation is expected for Tuesday night into Wednesday especially. So for southeast Alaska, brace for more of these scattered showers to continue your way. No heavy impacts aside from just more of this wet weather adding on to the already fairly wet situation you've been having the last couple of weeks. So brace for this the next couple of days. Wind gusts are likely up to 30 miles per hour, but aside from that, relatively calm winds with these warmer temperatures. Now for the interior, you're actually feeling a little bit colder temperatures. These temperatures that you're looking at right now, especially for Fairbanks, this is roughly where you are typically this time of year. However, they are going to cool down just a little bit more into the week, bringing your temperatures just a little bit more, just a little bit colder below normal. But one thing I really want to point out is up in the North Slope, this is where temperatures are significantly colder than normal, sitting about 15 to 20 degrees below normal. And I mean, look at these overnight lows dropping to about 35 degrees below zero. Now everything that's highlighted in blue, although these temperatures are what you can expect, wind chill is going to make it feel a little bit more like negative 75 degrees. So again, be sure to bundle up and prepare for that. With these sunnier skies, that doesn't really help to retain any heat because that allows all of the air to kind of rise up, and that's really why you see much colder temperatures associated with clear skies, and this is true and reflected with western Alaska as well. So temperatures in western Alaska are just a little bit colder than what they typically are this time of year, and that's only going to continue as we approach Monday. So mostly clear skies, but again, brace for this change on the way. These clear skies will remain through the weekend, but the change will come to you by Monday night and especially into Tuesday. Tuesday is when that bigger storm makes landfall for the Aleutians up into southwestern Alaska, but in the meantime, these partly cloudy skies will remain, with ADAC seeing a little bit more rain than some of these other areas. Now, these gusts up to 85 miles per hour are really the strongest winds that we need to pay attention to. These are hurricane force winds, so be aware of that, but that high wind that high wind warning is in effect from Sunday morning all the way through Sunday night. Now for South Central, mostly cloudy skies, especially for areas on the western side of the Kenai Peninsula, but Seward and areas like Kodiak, you'll still get a little bit of rain for tomorrow, but most of that precipitation is likely to move in Monday morning. But for tomorrow, brace for a little bit more of that mixture of wintry precipitation for Valdez, especially as these lows drop below freezing. And Gulkana, this is one of those areas that will see a little bit heavier amounts of that snowfall. You may see in the very top corner, peeking behind our banner, that purple highlight. Again, that's that winter weather advisory highlighted for the upper Tanana Valley for 4 to 8 inches of snow for tomorrow through Tuesday. Gulkana, although not within that winter weather advisory, they will see very similar accumulation totals. Now for the Matsu Valley, Palmer and Wasilla is expecting a very similar forecast in terms of the snowfall that Anchorage is. Only a couple of inches are expected, between a trace to a couple inches, so brace for that during the overnight hours. After the big game commute, be sure to drive careful. Even if there's not any snow on the ground, be aware of that iciness that can still exist on the roads, especially as these overnight lows drop below freezing, and these highs aren't really escaping above freezing either, so be ready and be aware of those slick roads anytime you're driving, and just be aware of that. And again, brace for more of that wet weather and wintry weather heading our way, especially by Wednesday. It's important to note what we could expect for tomorrow night into Monday morning, but still the biggest impacts and what we're really paying attention to now is coming Tuesday night into Wednesday. But temperatures for the next couple of days are right where they should be this time of year. Pretty normal, nothing really stands out, but for Fairbanks, you're gonna dip down, getting pretty chilly, negative 24 and even negative 31 degrees for those lows for Sunday night and Monday night, but then you get a little bit of a warm up by the close of this upcoming week. For Juneau, this 7-day is relevant for the entire region. You're really expecting just to see more of that rain continuing on, and I feel like every time I pop up here, every single 7-day I show for Juneau is just more rain, and it's like that for the next several days. So temperatures are, though, a little bit warmer, and we've even seen a few records being broken in Sitka the last few days, with temperatures barely squeezing about 1 to 2 inches above the previous record, but you have been feeling much warmer temperatures lately, and this is something that Anchorage has also seen in the last couple of days, with these highs reaching into the 40s, which is not normal this time of year. Typically, our seasonal average in Anchorage is about 20 to 25 degrees. So I don't know, it's kind of interesting to see these kind of impacts that we've been feeling lately, and it's interesting to see that other parts of the state are also feeling similar impacts, even though they get completely different terrains and things like that. So it's pretty cool, but just be aware of that snow heading our way for this upcoming week, and also be prepared if you're in Southwest Alaska and for the Aleutians. Heavier impacts are going to hit you since you are the first region that is going to feel this storm make landfall. So brace for that in the North Slope. Be ready to bundle up and stay warm. But in the meantime, I'll let you enjoy the rest of your Saturday night. Enjoy the big game for tomorrow, and don't forget to tune into Channel 2. That's where you can watch the game, and we'll have a special newscast after the game if you're interested in that. So with that, I hope you have a great rest of your night and enjoy our review of Anchorage.